So this is one of my favorite things to talk about right here, right? So, if you remember The Dark Knight Rises, who was the bad guy? Come on. B. Starts with a B. Bane. Yep, Bane, right? So we have Bane and we have Batman. Okay? Now, at one point in the movie, you guys remember when Batman was stuck in the pit? He was stuck in a pit, right? Stuck in a bad place, in essence, right? Stuck in a situation that he could not get out of, right? Now, pay attention to the pit. Pay attention to the pit. He's in a pit, and he's trying to climb out of the pit. Anybody can remember and describe to me how he was trying to get out of the pit? How were the other people trying to get out of the pit? What was the first thing, though? No. What was he using to climb? Yes, they had a rope, right? Remember, they would tie a rope around themselves and they would try to climb up, right? But as you see them climbing up, nobody could get out. But then Batman, or technically Bruce Wayne, right, he's like, he should be able to get out. Why? Because he's Bruce Wayne, and secretly he's Batman. So he has the skills. So skills should be good enough to get him out of the pit, correct? So he begins climbing, finally gets to the ledge that you were talking about, right? And then runs and jumps, but misses. And then what happens? The rope catches him, right? They let him back down. So pay attention, because I love, and do this, I love breaking down movies and just getting principles out of movies. So what I took from that, I said, skills are great and skills are needed, but skills aren't necessarily enough. We just saw that Aaron Hernandez has all the skill that he needs in the world, skills enough to get him to the NFL, and yet it's not enough. And so all of a sudden, Batman, Bruce Wayne, right, is still in the pit. He tried doing things, he tried to be successful with his skills weren't enough. All of a sudden, he looks up on the TV screen, right, and he sees, my people are in trouble. And he says, my people are in trouble, and all of a sudden he's filled with passion. He's like, man, you know what, let me get back to exercising. I have skill, and I have passion. I should be able to get out of the pit, right? And now there's important lessons there, right? Because it's still important. It's still important to have something passionate about, and he's doing a good thing. He sees that his people are in trouble, and we know as minorities, you know, in our culture, our people are definitely in trouble. So some of us have to use our skills, and hopefully enough of us are passionate about helping our community, right, to get back to the community. But something happens. He still tries to get out of the pit, and he tries with skills. He has the passion. He tries to get out of the pit, still can't make it out of the pit. Skills and passion by itself sometimes are not enough to get out of the pit. And then all of a sudden, there's a turning point. Anybody can tell me what the turning point is? So the guy, there's a doctor down there that's been helping him to heal, right? And so what the doctor says is, listen, he tells him the story. He's like, listen, there's one person that was able to make it out of the pit. And the person was a what? Not that it was a woman, but it was a child. It was a little girl, right? Who made it out of the pit. And so Batman is probably thinking, if a little kid can make it out of the pit, I got the skills and the passion. There's no way that I should not be able to make it out of the pit, right? But then the doctor says something that was very important for Bruce Wayne to understand. What does he tell him? But what was, yes, the guy helped the little kid to escape, but what was the one thing, how did the girl escape? She didn't go up using a rope. She didn't go up using a rope. And then all of a sudden you saw that it just clicked for Bruce Wayne. And then you saw him walking out, he had a sack with him and everything. And he just looked more confident when he was going about trying to get out this time, right? And instead of using a rope, he begins climbing up, gets to the ledge eventually, and he's getting ready to jump. And the one part that nobody could get over, he's the first one out of all those men to make it over to the other ledge, and then he's able to climb up out of the pit, right? But watch this. There's some levels that you will not reach. There's some pits that you will not get out of. There's some pits that our people will not get out of until we are willing to sacrifice everything in order to get out of the pit. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? When I think about men like Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King was willing to sacrifice even his life if necessary in order that the dream that he had, the opportunities that he wanted to create, not just for himself, but for his son and daughter. Remember, he says, I have a dream. And his dream, one of the main things that he talks about is that his dream is for his son and his children to have opportunity, right? But there are certain levels, there are certain things that will not come. Even academically, there are certain levels that you won't get to until you are willing to sacrifice everything negative and put your full concentration and put everything, every ounce of your energy into accomplishing that particular goal, right? And so for me to get the 3.8 GPA and to graduate with the 3.8 GPA, there were a lot of things that I said, you know, I have to sacrifice going out as much as I wanted to. I had to sacrifice hanging out with my friends. I had to be willing for some of my friends to say, Vaughn, like you're always locked away in your basement. For 2 years, you have not really done as much hanging out as you used to. And I understood that what I had to do is, if I was going to get out of the pit, I was already in the pit. I know what it's like to be in the pit. I know what it's like to be in the $40,000 pit, get kicked out of law school pit, graduating from Stony Brook with a 2.3 GPA pit. I know what all of that is about already. I'm tired of being in the pit. I'm trying to sacrifice whatever I have to sacrifice in order to start getting out of the pit, right? Exactly. And I'll understand that I will be able to have way more fun than I want to, than I was trying to have when I get out of the pit. But then here's the last thing. What happens at the end, right? When he finally gets out of that pit, what does he do? There's something that happens immediately after. At the top of the pit, there's a rope, and he lets the rope back down, right? So what does that mean? I have the word serve here. What does that mean? What it shows you is that, yes, when you get out of the pit, your job is to help others get out of the pit also. The whole essence of Batman getting out of the pit was not just for himself, but it was also for everybody else that needed to see the example of him getting out of the pit, that he can help them get out of the pit also. When I went, the reason why I focused so much, the reason why I went after the 3.8 GPA, the reason why I graduated with the 3.8 GPA is not because I was just concentrating on myself while I was sitting down there in the basement, working on all of my schoolwork, writing all these papers that I didn't necessarily want to write. But the whole time, what I had in my mind is that if I'm able to accomplish this, then I will put myself in better position to help other people get out of the pits that they're in. Right? If I can get the education that I need to, if I can write the book. The reason why I wrote the book, not just because I said I want to write the book and just talk about myself, but I said if I can write the book, then I'll have a book and I can help other people to get out of the pits that they're going to experience because I have a book out. And other people will understand that they can write the book too because I wrote the book. If I decide to design shirts, other people will understand that they can go ahead and design shirts also. If I build my own institution, with its own curriculum or what have you, other people will understand that they can begin doing that same kind of thing also. So what I want you to understand is that after you get out of the pit, because you still have to get out of the pit, right? And sometimes you understand you might have to take time just focusing on yourself getting out of the pit. But the whole reason why you're getting out of the pit is because you might be able to put yourself in a position one day to help your parents, right? Your parents. There's so many kids whose parents need help, right? And when their kid gets out the pit, they can reach back to their parent and help them out.